Welcome to your required annual training regarding the Wida ELD standards. Wida stands for World Class Instructional Design and Assessment, and ELD stands for English Language Development. The Wida ELD Standards Framework is a language development standards framework for K through 12 academic settings. Essentially, all teachers are language teachers and therefore responsible for utilizing the standards and providing comprehensible input for diverse learners in all classes, in all subject areas, and at all levels. The standards take an asset-based approach that reflects the belief that all students possess valuable resources they can use to support their own learning as well as the learning of others. The North Carolina English Language Development Standards are adopted from the WIDA ELD standards. The North Carolina standards are not a prescribed curriculum. They define the language multilingual learners need as they move toward college, career, and civic readiness. The standards encompass four big ideas. The first big idea is equity of opportunity and access to ensure multilingual learners have the same opportunities as their peers. An additional big idea is the integration of content and language. By combining content and language objectives in classes, all teachers are able to simultaneously address content and language needs. Another big idea is collaboration among stakeholders. The standards provide a tool that can serve as a focus for collaboration. The final big idea is a functional approach to language development where an emphasis is placed on the purposeful use of language.
The framework is intended to describe clear and measurable goals for ELs represented by language expectations, grade level can-dos, resources for accountability, and a guide for using research-based information to develop curriculum. The framework is not a prescribed curriculum and is not intended for use in isolation from the grade level content standards. It is not a step-by-step process for teaching and learning. The ELD standards statements provide educators with a connection between language development and academic content area learning. The statements represent the broad and ever-present language of the disciplines in the classroom. The standards focus around 5 major areas of language development in the areas of social communication and academic language across the curriculum. Key language uses: narrate, inform, explain, and argue describe ways that language is used in school. For example, everyday students and teachers narrate, inform, explain, and argue. Of course, students and teachers use language in other ways too, but by identifying these 4 prominent uses, WIDA helps educators focus their approach to instruction. One of the big ideas is a functional approach to language development. The key language uses are central to this big idea as they emphasize the ways that language is used for a particular purpose, with particular audiences, and in a particular sociocultural context.
Another main part of the WIDA framework are the modes of communication. The interpretive mode encompasses listening, reading, and viewing, while the expressive mode encompasses speaking, writing, and representing. Students also communicate through gestures, facial expressions, and images, and many other ways. Here is an example of a WIDA language expectation for content-driven language. These statements describe the language necessary for meeting grade-level academic content standards. Where do language objectives come from? They are not typically provided and must be created by teachers. The following process can be helpful in creating language objectives. Step 1, determine the content standard. Step 2, create content objectives. Step 3, determine which objectives require language. Step 4, decide what language the content objective requires. And step 5, decide what language to emphasize. A final great resource found on the Wida website are proficiency level descriptors. They are organized by grade level clusters, communication mode, and language level.